Yeah, it's the lighting, I think, is what's making it blue. So I'm not exactly sure what we're waiting on here. I feel like we've been waiting an awful long time for this next match.
I wonder if they're doing a... Charlie seems quite competitive, so I don't know that he'd agree to this. I wonder if they're doing you know, obviously they'd be making a big assumption that Eric is advancing over Mike Dambois, but if they think that's likely the case, they might be doing a discussion of those merits. But also, they're both very competitive, so I don't know that they would.
Well, some of the new allies just asked me for the invite to Discord, so hopefully they come in here and...
What?
Cool. Apparently our audio went robot.
Yeah, I think we confirmed that you are a robot, Joe.
We are robots, so...
It would explain a lot.
Cool, that's awesome, Carl. We'll see you on Gem then. The OCS starts in like a week. It's a big like online tournament that goes for like 7 months throughout the year, and you play 12 games a month, and all the games are like really competitive and fun. So you should expect to, if you're just coming back, lose a fair number. But if you want like high quality games where people are like putting in effort, it's a great place to go.
So we see Drew playing light side. He's playing No Idea.
Oh my goodness!
We had no idea that was coming.
Ah, good one.
I mean, he is a dad after all.
Shadow Collective should be pretty decent against No Idea.
I actually think that No Idea can beat Shadow Collective. If they're running double, keep your eyes open. It's not going to win by a lot, mind you. But,
so I lost at Drew's Shadow Collective with No Idea and Nationals top 8, but I put a lone bright hope at the system, and he went Zuckus and IG and threw it out and had the system the whole game. If that doesn't happen, I think No Idea is okay.
Yeah, and I lost to Charlie's. Oh crap! Look at our signal. I lost to Charlie's illegal flipping Shadow Collective at Nationals, and if not for the illegal flipping, I probably would have been fine. But it's going to grind out. It's going to make the game. The game result is going to be fairly meaningless from this first game, unless somebody just absolutely makes a huge mistake. The plus minus on this is going to be like under 10 either way.
Oh yeah, that was you, Matt, and I totally was thinking and picturing you in my head, and said Drew because Drew had just sat down. Yeah, of course I don't know why I said Drew when I meant Matt. Crazy Runner guy was with a Zuckus on the.
Hold on one sec, guys. I'm gonna call Mike because he's trying to get into the channel. So fill the dead air.
There you go.
There you go.
You know, I gotta go.
How do I turn the TV on?
All right, see ya.
Okay, see ya.
They'll cover it when we're.
All right, so Kessling is here. Is Greg Shaw there with you too, Kessling?
So we'll bail out because our internet's right now.
Like, call him?
Okay.
Are we gonna join a video
All
call,
right.
or do I have to like?
No, you should. That's a
You're,
voice channel.
you're on, Mike.
Voice connected.
You're
You should be
live.
able to hear him. And your HDMI is probably putting it through the TV right now, so I can't hear him.
All right, so Mike having technical difficulties.
We can hear you now.
You can hear us. Okay, good.
Just can't see anything.
So
I need
you
to
gotta
watch
open up the stream and mute it
Okay.
on Twitch.
Let's change. Can you try to get the TV on the right input? Okay, we're working on it. We'll be ready in a second.
Open up the stream and mute it.
We're good. We can see.
Good. All right. So we're joined by fellow new allies players here, Mike Kessling and Greg Shaw. And I think I
Bill's
heard Bill there too. Yeah, so so Drew versus Charlie, both also new allies. Shadow Collective versus No Idea. What are you guys' thoughts on this?
Well, I just played this matchup against Drew. This is Greg. I just played this matchup against Drew, and I won by 12.
As No Idea or Shadow Collective?
As Shadow Collective.
Okay.
So my basic game plan was to just keep some things going and make him commit a bunch of resources to Scarif, and that was it. Keep the pings going because he doesn't have to put a lot of stuff on the table. So it's kind of just going for a somewhat of a small victory either way. But his damage potential isn't that large, so he kind of gives the dark side player a lot of time to craft the hand that they want.
Yeah, we see Charlie pretty aggressive here, just putting them all to the Hoth site, threatening a drain of 2.
Yeah, I think that's pretty standard.
Yeah, probably not a lot Drew can do about that.
Here's the projection, so he'll get that out pretty quick.
Yeah, Drew's got double projection in there, so he's gonna definitely projection the defensive perimeter.
Okay, is he playing Menace Phase as well?
Yes.
Yeah, that's in there as well.
Okay. So yeah, Drew will be trying to set up Menace Phase here. He's going to projection the third marker, kind of just to validate that site. Charlie will try to get a blaster there to ping him. All right, so yeah, we see projection, the third marker. Drew playing battle plan.
Wow, we're on a delay.
You guys are watching the stream?
Yeah.
Jeremy's way faster.
It's like you're telling the future.
Yeah.
Interesting. The stream should be the same for both of us.
That's okay. You can do more of the play-by-play since we can't see quite so well.
So yeah, Drew is just drew up here, drew a few cards, saved a few.
Shouldn't be that bad.
So I assume there's a lot of talk
Specifically-
about. What was that, Mike?
Drew's decided to play light side first, knowing he's likely to lose, but wanted to know by how much he needed to win with CCT.
Okay, and he wants to win this game, right? Does he want to play Eric? Does he feel better about playing Eric?
They're going to play this straight up. They both feel like, well, and it's not guaranteed to be Eric, but they
True,
both feel
that's
like they both have decent matchups against either of the other two guys, and so yeah, there's going to be no teammate shenanigans here. More so for the match itself, Drew felt like CCT, he could be more aggressive, less aggressive, depending against the QMC that Charlie's playing. Knowing that he was likely to lose this game, he just wants to know what the differential will be.
Makes sense.
Nice little setup we have here. Lie in bed and commentate some Star Wars cards.
We currently have you set up on the TV in our hotel room, and we're laying down on the bed together.
Ooh.
Well, not really together. I'm the only one on the bed.
It's a PG stream.
It's a
I guess I
PC
better
stream.
update that. Okay, so let me think this. Interesting. So you're saying Charlie's playing QMC, Drew's playing CCT. So those are two decks that we haven't seen QMC all weekend. We only saw
Charlie
CCT once yesterday.
Charlie kind of retooled the Ancient Watering Hole deck that some of the guys on the team have been playing to give it a little bit more fighting power, but otherwise it's generally the same idea.
Okay, so Charlie, he deployed some guys, Politic and Asajj Ventress, I believe, with sabers.
Yeah, that's a sub.
And a gun to the Data Vault.
And that's the Black Sun Blaster.
Now, what are the difference between the blasters?
Black Sun Blaster is Destiny 4. It costs 1 to deploy if there's no Black Sun leader on the table, I think. Black Sun Blaster, when it hits, lets the dark side player activate a force, but it doesn't really impact the character that it hits, other than them being hit. Other blasters, Destiny 3, deploys free and makes the character they can't satisfy attrition if they're forfeited. Yeah, Black Sun only goes on aliens. JNAP, I don't know if we're gonna reveal whether or not Mama Ladon is still in the deck.
Mama!
You'll have to stay tuned.
Yeah. Crimson Dawn can go on any warrior. Black Sun only goes on aliens. That's correct.
Alright, so we see Drew playing Bright Hope to Scarif. I did not catch if that was from reserve deck or from hand. Did anybody catch that in chat? Alright, so something's happening here. Drew waving at the camera.
Drew's last name is misspelled again. On the left side, just as a heads up.
Okay, let me fix that.
It's hard enough to have the last name Lichtenstein. We may as well spell it right.
I feel like that's the way it should be spelled, but I'll change it to the actual way.
He's not growing on a tree, Jeremy.
Drew Lichtenstein.
That'd be Lichtenstein, yeah. Alright, so Drew flips his objective after playing a very beautiful Harrison Dora foil to the beach. These are my cards, by the way.
Pow.
How'd you feel about the hot SSA deck? A lot of white borders in that one.
It was beautiful. Eric and I played in the last game of the tournament last night, and I conceded to him before the game because if Drew lost, I wanted to help his strength of schedule, having played Eric twice. But Eric was nice enough to play just a fun game, because I wanted to see what his deck was, and yeah, it is. The cards in his deck are a thing of beauty.
All right, so we see Drew playing Hera. I don't remember that trooper's name. Van Willard and Cassian all to the beach.
Corporal Pow is the one you're missing, I think.
Pow, yeah. Okay. But Drew opting just to have Bright Hope in space. Does this mean that he knows Charlie's not playing any space?
Yes, he's aware.
Okay.
They're playing accordingly.
He did the same thing against me. Bright Hope in space all game long.
Luke will probably go there at some point and be retrieving one as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
But we're really looking for Menace Fades here to shut down that third marker drain.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think at this stage in the game Charlie's going to be paying to drain. He's probably going to get a blaster on Maul and just get the ping going. But for right now, I think he's going to spend his force to interact at the beach.
The beach.
Okay, so Drew's playing escape pod combo, which gets grabbed. Interesting grab there.
No, that's the right grab for Charlie for sure, because that same card is going to shut down his ping damage from You'll Be Dead.
Oh, good point. I forgot that they errated that to do that, right?
Yes, that was an errata. In response to the first initial popularity of Shadow Collective.
Obviously done a lot to slow the deck down.
Obviously. So what else would you grab in No Idea? I think Charlie knows that Drew has an It Could Be Worse in there. So that's the other thing that he could loop, but you still grab Escape Pod 100 times out of 100.
Yeah, at least It Could Be Worse is force intensive. If he has to Willard for it, he could mess up the tracking. I don't think Drew will. He's a machine, but...
Yeah, so one thing that's interesting for this turn, I think like a lot of times in the very early game with Shadow Collective, you position yourself where you just like drop guys in front of them and don't battle, because then light side has to battle into you. You get your guns back. You can use your Gick effect if you want. One thing that's interesting right now is Drew doesn't have any characters in his lost pile to put out a play. So he has Cassian there. He has his objective, but there's nobody to put out a play to cancel weapon targetings. So Charlie could shoot all of those spies this turn. Not have any of those. Well, I would not even shoot Hera this turn, because he can always shoot Hera with her not being a spy. She's not protected by the objective. Right now he could shoot Cassian, he could shoot Pow, send those guys to the lost pile, and then those shots can't be canceled. So you might actually see Charlie initiate a battle this turn rather than just deploy and sit in front.
I actually think taking out Willard is pretty important here too.
Yeah, you do want to get Willard off the table too. Willard is really useful to cycle stuff. But I think the immediate one is Cassian. You want Cassian off. That was just annoying. His power adds.
What is this character?
IG-88 with Riot Gun has a permanent weapon that can capture.
He adds a battle destiny with a bounty hunter or alone.
Yeah, and so that's an AI Cad Bane. That's Kendall Bane. So right now IG-88 would add a destiny, but there's only 3 ability. Right now he's still just getting the 1 destiny, but he can capture somebody. And right now Drew's got no way to stop that weapon destiny draw.
No, keep your eyes open in the deck, but there should be 2 Antilles maneuvers.
So if you're Drew here, would you maybe want to protect Willard by putting him in space instead of exposing him to the ground like this?
Maybe, but if that's all you could put down, I think putting down just the 3 characters is also a little dicey. Yeah, a little loose.
Okay, so Charlie's going to flip and pass. And that'll cause 1 ping damage, correct?
No, the ping damage happens if he's... Oh, yeah, sorry, he did pass. Sorry, we're on the delay. So, yeah, he did not fight. He's passing... No, he's recirculating with the objectives.
The objectives recirculating.
Yeah, got it. The ping damage happens at the end of the turn if Darkseid still occupies 3 locations. Battlegrounds.
Yeah, Shadow Collective kind of a lot of moving parts on objective, and I've never played it, so I'm not familiar with a lot of the cards anyways.
Well, Drew loves this deck, so I've played against it a million times, but I have never played it either.
Okay, so Charlie opted not to battle, and he just moved Politic over.
Or he moved Asajj. Oh, then Baltic. Sorry, the delay bites us again.
Mike is playing Eric Hunter, Twig.
They were playing game 1 when we left. Mike's playing EBO, and Eric was playing the Hoth SSA Trooper Walker deck.
There's only 2 troopers.
I think there's at least 4.
Oh, that's true. We did see a biker scout trooper at some point too.
Drew. Activating here.
Did when that ping happened, did Drew lose from deck or did he lose from hand? Because I think that was a good spot for him to lose off the top and try to hit a character.
Hit a character, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he did lose from the top.
That says you're wrong and he lost from hand.
Oh, well. Interesting. Would you have lost a character there if you had one in your hand? Or you just
Yes.
took everything?
100%. Ig is like the scariest guy you can have there.
Maybe Drew's just going to play a bunch of dudes here.
Yeah, Drew could end up with a ton of power, but Charlie does have the Gick effect that he can burn.
It's a good start for Drew. We got Tydo.
Yeah, I think we might see him drop many characters here. In Shadow Collective, you need to just run them out of guys because the guns just continuously loop. So that's probably going to be Drew's strategy here. Even if he's able to clear 3 characters in the Gick effect here, he's going to be really happy if he gets to like a million power.
You can only put back 1 gun?
No.
Each character can forfeit 1 gun.
Okay.
Great.
Drew has the sand effect here too, which is going to be pretty good in this battle.
You said sand on sand.
That's what it looks like, but he's running 2 sand.
He played 2 sand yesterday. I don't know if he has 2 sand in this deck. But it kind of looked like sand on sand.
That says yes, sand on sand.
And here we see the Antilles maneuver to make him pay for weapons. That's also good for Drew.
Yeah, definitely going to be battling this turn.
Yeah, Charlie's just saving 1, so he's only going to get 1 shot here. It looks like Drew has sabotage to cancel. Ooh, yes.
What's the 1 for?
Which one?
Charlie spent 1?
To fire because of Antilles.
Fire with IG-88, which is
Oh, he's doing sabotage to cancel the shot.
Yeah.
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 So Drew, obviously, knowing he has sabotage and Antilles maneuver, feels very comfortable battling into this.
Draws 1,
Yes.
gets to retrieve his sabotage.
He did not pull a card off sand, though.
What are you doing?
Okay, so there is the retrieval after he draws Jen.
A lot of whiteboard, Mike.
I love this. Deck's beautiful.
So Drew draws a...
I'd love to be privy to whatever convincing they're having.
I think they're talking about the order of retrieval, which we had to confirm. The Destiny gets drawn. Destiny is
Limbo.
in limbo. The retrieval happens, and then the Destiny resolves.
Charlie draws a 7, draws the Phantom Menace. He draws Proxima, which gets taken into hand via Sith Fury. And he draws Traded Voss.
Oh, okay, draws right.
We should just go. And Drew, I believe, drew sabotage until he's maneuver for his Destiny, so double 5.
Double 5, yeah. So Drew's looking at 8 attrition here, so it's at least 2 characters. Loses Cassian. Interesting. You think he'd want to keep Cassian around to lose somebody else?
Cassian actually doesn't do anything because Cassian doesn't do anything because of Maul.
Ah, okay. And that also is this the same for the objective too, right? Fall stops the objective. Or the objective just prevent the weapon altogether.
I think
No.
now the objective prevents the targeting,
Right.
not the it's changed again. Like,
You cancel the targeting before any draws occur.
so he's going to forfeit Leia using Willards once per game.
Willard guy's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good battle for Drew there. Basically shut down anything that Charlie was planning with those blasters.
Own gun CAD, which isn't super great. I don't think.
I think he's still deliberating on which characters to lose.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I think that from attrition, you're correct, but I think he was well outpowered.
Yeah, I think there might be a bigger power differential.
Because all Drew's Battle Destiny alone was 10, and then I think the Power Destiny was a 2, so he's 12 off those two things.
Yeah, it looked like Charlie peeled one off the top and then lost Politic from the site. That one force that he peeled was first strike, though. So Drew probably pretty happy to see first strike go the lost pile there.
And now has a character and lost for his objective.
Yeah, because he only had to lose. Wait, shouldn't he have to lose 2?
He lost 2. He lost Leia and Cassian.
Leia would use.
Leia would
Yeah,
use.
so Charlie can still fire Ig at Hera, and there's no counterplay to that.
Sabotage would stop that still.
Sabotage would stop that, true.
But we know where both those are.
Yeah, both in the deck. There's a jazz funk band starting up right outside our room. We all just got thrown for a loop.
Do they just pipe that into the rooms every once in a while?
I don't know, that was bizarre.
Keep you happy. Like elevator music. Charlie is in the tank. Look at that. Look at that picture of Charlie up there. Just in the tank.
Yeah, it was a pretty tough turn for him last turn. I think he got caught off guard by the Antilles maneuver.
I mean, he's still... It wasn't a complete disaster. He kept 2 guys there and got rid of 2. He could have drawn even better. Getting 1-7 was good, but then following it up with a 2 or whatever was not great.
Yeah, redrawing a low destiny into another low destiny.
But he still has his Gick effect. I think that's an important thing for him. It's like he can still go wide with like a guy who draws in a blaster to one of the first light sites. Just turn up the ping damage, and he'll still have a lot of guys that he can throw down to the beach. He's still got to kind of keep all of his resources concentrated at the beach as long as Charlie's there.
Yeah, so we see Charlie, he paid 3 to drain for 1, and then he put a blaster on wall. And now he's flipped his objective, so he's recirculating and reshuffling. So yeah, Charlie doing exactly what you said, Shao. He's spreading out. Yep.
Tough
Moves
thing
both
though
his
is
guys from the
proximate
beach
can't
back
carry
to the
it.
vault.
I'm guessing he just wants Proxima out more so to have her ability online than
Yep.
anything.
Because that turn says to me that he has no characters.
Same.
Yep.
The deck doesn't have a ton of characters. So, like, my strategy against Charlie was just get his characters off the table as best as possible, and I got fortunate on a drain. He lost 4 cards off the top, and all 4 were characters. And that swung the match considerably.
We heard about that on our walk to food.
Charlie
Charlie's.
getting to look at his force pile here at the back
Yeah, it
side.
looks like a sight and 2 red cards.
Yeah.
So he's probably hoping that Proxima can survive this next turn and hit a character for him. One of those may have been a force push. I don't know. I couldn't really see what they were. Yeah, Iggy Asajj and Cad Bane are the characters at the site.
Drew has to lose one at the end of turn to Charlie's objective. Just losing all his space. Makes sense. Pretty nice that Drew gets to just drain for free all game. Yeah, so trade 1 and 2.
Big Sand is the new evac and Imperial Justice effects. I don't think Charlie has a stunning leader in this build of the deck, Eric.
It's coming from the spa. Relaxing.
Yeah, we saw Drew play Shadow Collective yesterday versus Baroni. I don't know if you guys got a chance to watch that game.
I did not see
You
it.
were there. It was a very, very weird game.
Brody was playing Tig with
How many recoils and fears were played?
multiple neighboring leads.
Yeah, Mike,
Yeah,
it looked
I
like you were having a lot of fun that first game with Baroni.
We watched it on the big screen after the football game ended because I was telling them how ridiculous the first 5 turns were. So Drew does decide to go on the offensive with spies.
But the scout team and Torn Far.
Yeah, right now, Scout Team Torn Far. I don't think that gets to Destiny, but it's a lot of power.
Blount joins them along with Ray.
But
Yeah.
he is saying you're going to use your gig effect now.
Definitely.
What are you looking for here if you're Drew in your use pile search?
Sabotage.
Yeah. Sabotage, Ant-Man.
Anything whiteboarder, really.
Yeah, CRG says Luke. Yeah, Luke would be pretty
Yeah,
good.
Luke also, because Luke is just going to, stay at the system uncontested
Yeah.
all game, retrieving one. That's not bad either.
Jeez. What are you...
Oh, the way they were in my deck.
Okay. Give it to him.
Okay, Drew's going to battle, and he's going to pull a guy off of the sand effects.
I'm going to guess that this burns the Gick effect.
Yeah, Charlie already way ahead of Drew here.
Charlie not draw.
Charlie didn't draw a Destiny?
You strand 4 guys there, I guess, is the thinking. But they can-
Yeah, but they're right next to a Twix where they could drain.
I think it's only drain 1, though.
Oh,
Drew is
what?
draining for free, though.
Yeah, weird that he decided not to draw Destiny there.
Maybe he's just trying to minimize the number of characters
Yeah.
in Drew's lost pile.
Yeah, I think there's that. There's keeping the characters in Lost Pile low and also not giving him an opportunity to redeploy Ray somewhere to be helpful.
Just very efficiently found all the blue cards in his deck to lose them.
Impressive, really.
Yeah, Cassian is in Lost Pile. Yoshi.
Almost the whole gang here.
There's currently 59 people watching on stream, so thank you all for being here. The new Allies party.
Alright, so Charlie going back to the beach with all his guys. He deployed a blaster on one of his characters last turn, Cad Bane, I think. Yeah, it does look like Drew is pretty favored right now. Gonna get to draw a lot of cards with Ray. Gets to drain for free.
Greg, how does this compare to the game that you and Drew played?
Yeah, this one is definitely going better for Drew than my match. I had all with Blaster at the defensive perimeter and somebody else, some other gangster leader, maybe Hondo with the Blaster at one of the first light sites, which is a little more, that's harder for Drew to come attack because of the gun. You can threaten to shoot somebody and Wounded Warrior them, so he really has to commit a lot of resources there. And also, the action on Scarif went a little bit better for me. So Drew never really had an opportunity to send a second stack over to first light. So I had 2 ping damage going through every turn from pretty much the second or third turn of the game on.
So Drew actually used his objective to move Willard over to the vault. So he got another drain of 1, and he picked up the tapes for a ping of 1.
Jared, we registered different decks. I played Communing, same as yesterday, but swapped about 8 cards to get a space package in, and stayed with Map. Greg, you played...
I played Legends, so I was not on No Idea. We basically had 4 people on 4 different light side lists, right?
Yeah. Charlie is playing QMC and Shadow Collective. Drew's playing CCT and No Idea, of course. And then Greg also played Shadow Collective and Legend. And then, as we said, I was on Map and Commuting.
Drew looked through his lost pile because he needed to put a rebel out of play. That's with the objective text, the 7 side of his objective.
All right, Drew does play Menace Fades and Luke. Okay, so this is looking really good for Drew. Basically shutting down all of Charlie's damage. All right, well now Charlie will be able to get some damage in. After Drew moves everybody back to the vault.
So we don't think there are any other characters in Drew's lost pile right now, correct?
I do not believe so.
Was Cassian, but Cassian just went out of play for the move, right?
Correct.
Leia was lost, but she went to the used pile for from Willard's text once per game.
Blows up one of the guns with Sabotage.
Yeah, Sabotage looking really good in this matchup.
This is why, he had 2 in the deck originally. I'm not sure if he still does, but
He does.
Yeah, we've seen 2 in there, and I can also confirm that there are 2 in there from my game.
Yeah, it is in there specifically for this.
Yeah, I had a better start than Charlie did, and I was able to put a little more pressure on Drew, so he didn't have a setup quite like this. He wasn't able to loop his sabotages effectively. There was other stuff he needed to do. So Drew could end up winning this game based on how it looks right now.
I think he's going to win this game.
I do too.
Comfortably. Charlie just can't find guys.
I don't know how comfortably the diff will end up being because he's got a lot of stuff on table.
Yeah.
There's going to be pings still getting through. So he has that. It could be worse, and Willard's still on the table, so that's good for Drew.
But Drew may be able to just kill all the guns with Sabotage. It's a pretty nice way around the income.
Charlie will have a once per game retrieval with Jabba's Twerps if he can find it. I don't know.
What's he got out there now? Just
He has Ballot Sick on table, so right now it's only a retrieval of 1.
Ballot's gone.
Oh, who is that?
It's Cat and Asajj.
Cat. Okay, so he's got no leaders on table either.
Yeah.
No alien leaders, I mean.
Charlie opts to just move IJ8 over, but leaves the rest of his guys at the beach.
Really shuffling.
Yeah, Charlie seems quite frustrated, understandably.
Yeah.
Could be a pretty animated player.
We need 8 more.
Looks like we're getting that new allies bump in the viewer count.
What people came to see. Yeah, so Drew gonna get 2 damage in here and retrieve 1 with Luke. And
Yeah,
a
I
ping
think
with
he-
Stardust.
Yeah, just got his It Could Be Worse back. Danger off the top is bad for Charlie.
So we're getting another control phase move. He moves Blount over. Is that a drain 2, or is that still drain 1?
I think it's only 1 with Maul on table.
Yeah, one of them was a 1. I think that might be a 2.
Oh.
I have cards right here.
We'll just see how many cards he uses.
That's the
he
easiest
lost 2.
Yeah, one of the fights requires a smuggler, the other one requires a musician.
And
Either
the
which Drew has.
2-0 says unless Voss on table, force drain -1 here. So
Voss, okay.
Dryden Voss not on table, it's a drain of 1.
With the Kylo box.
Drew moves his guys back over, not leaving himself exposed.
And then Walkling's for sabotage back.
Probably playing cold feet there. Do you think that Drew had some incentive to grab that cold feet? Just so Charlie can't loop the 5?
No, I mean there's masterful moves in there also. I haven't been paying attention to what went off the top, but there's masterful moves. So if he wants to loop something, it could be a 6. There's also lawless time if that didn't go off the top.
Yeah, so here's another sabotage, which I think that misses. Does it? Yeah.
Sorry about the game, Justin. Oh, so he drew maybe mistracked. Because he drew a 4, he gets to subtract 1, but that's a 3, and the blaster has a destiny of 3.
May have just been blind. He retrieved it, Willard did, and then he had to draw. Like, I don't think he
Right.
necessarily knew what that destiny was. I think he just went for it knowing most of my destiny is bad.
No idea, not known for its high destiny.
He didn't play that It Could Be Worse.
He might be saving it to see if Charlie drains for 2.
Look, a lot of cards
I think
there
that's
for
always
Charlie
interesting.
still. Eric was playing the same decks, Justin. The Hoth SSA and the Let the Loki Win Slave Quarters deck. Okay, so Charlie inquiring about the stack of characters that Drew has here at the vault.
Yeah, they also counted how many cards were out of play.
POW interacts with the number of rebels out of play, right? Like it's your battle destinies plus X up to 3.
POW can add X, I think, just to a destiny.
And Taidu does the subtract based on the same number.
Yeah.
Alright, so Charlie did pay to drain for 2. It could be worse.
Hondo.
Barrier on Aura. Dr. E.
Yeah, we'll see if he I think he's got to move a few guys over from the beach. See who he chooses.
Yeah, unless he has Gick in hand.
I think he's got 2 force saved, 3 force maybe.
I don't want to move too many because Ant-Man will screw you up.
Right, Charlie flips, gets to recirculate. Yeah, I think Charlie only has like 2 force, right?
I think there's 3 there.
3.
There might be an Ant-Man and Lost Power, but there's 2 in the deck. Crazy Carl.
Yeah, it looked like 3 force. Tough spot for Charlie.
Yeah, I mean, I think Sam's right in chat, just that Charlie's got to flood Sheriff with guys and guns and just try to push as much damage, just to even try to get the diff as low as possible for the match. Which is not looking great for him long term.
Were you playing Sabotage, Greg, when you played this matchup?
Was I playing Sabotage? I played Legend for light.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right.
So I did not play Sabotage in Legend.
Sabotage was played against you.
So, yeah, Drew played his Sabotages, but yeah, the opening draw was better for me. My hand was probably a little bit better than Charlie's. I was just able to keep enough pressure on Drew that he never really drew up a big hand. I think he sabotaged one of my guns. He only played Sabotage once or twice the entire game against me. And the gun that he made go lost, I retrieved with first strike. So the game against Drew, I was sitting on a pretty big stack, and in the last couple turns is when he got me down from maybe 20 cards down to 12, just by going a little bit wide and getting some more damage through. So I do think Drew, the current state, Drew's probably going to win this, but I don't think it's going to be by a whole lot.
Probably like 8 to 10.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm gonna go find the bathroom. I feel like pooping here would be a bad idea.
Apologies to our viewers if you heard some of Bill's colorful language.
Looks like a Lawless Time got grabbed there. Drew's moving in his control phase. Push some more damage. Yeah, so Drew causing 4 damage here this turn and retrieving 1. If you're Drew here, do you battle at the data vault or you just pass and say go?
I think he might be inclined to battle just because his power is going to be so immense, and if he does hit a rebel on one of his destiny draws, he gets to retrieve that sabotage.
Yeah, well, he played Baze, so definitely going to see a battle here.
Yeah,
for sure.
now it's on.
Yeah, he'll have like 5 different chances to draw a rebel.
Oh,
Oh, no battle.
Wow.
Drew doesn't like battling, I will tell you.
Yeah, so he might just really like his current position for the long term.
Yeah, he's content to grind. I think he feels good about his dark side matchup, and so he's like, I'm going to grind this out and not. Bad things can happen when you battle, you know.
Good things can happen too.
Right, but he's ahead, so he's not necessarily incentivized to change what's happening.
Yeah, and there's a lot of good characters there. I mean, one of your guys wants to get captured, get operated on.
I would think Forlom would blank base, yes. I don't know everyone who's at that stack anymore. I have forgotten, I apologize. But I would bet base.
It's the 2 troopers, Van Willard, Baze, Hera, and somebody else. Bodhi, maybe?
Yeah, I think with the combinations of Dr. E being there and IG-88, I think he probably was just too concerned about how much character removal was available to Charlie if he drew high enough. And not to mention 2 battle. Oh, I guess he's got sand. But yeah, I think Drew just doesn't want to put himself in a position where he can leave himself open to too big of a counter beat.
Yeah, because that's probably the only way he loses the game here is if Charlie can get a beat down. So Charlie looking like he's interested in battling. Plays Voss with a gun. And there's the intelligence maneuver. So now Charlie would have to pay 1 to fire each of his weapons.
Gun was from hand. He has everything active.
I just got word via text that Eric Hunter won the first game by 18.
Do we know what sides they played?
I'm fairly certain he was playing Dark Game 1. So it
Eric?
was his walkers against Mike's EBO.
Oh. EBO versus Walkers, huh?
A lot of opportunity for pretty Whitewater Hoth cards. The art deck Eric is playing is quite sweet.
I agree.
We'll see what happens in the next game, and otherwise it'll be back on stream.
I think Charlie asked for a power count here.
Yeah, and then it looks like he just initiated.
I believe so. He spent a force.
I don't even know who you would shoot at here. Okay, so Bay's gonna shoot at Pondababa Dr. E. Interesting. Did Charlie not fire Forlom at Bay's?
Not sure what happened on the first action. Yeah, maybe he.
So he paid 1 to shoot with IG. And he captures Hera.
Maybe he blanked Taidu, so Taidu can't subtract.
I mean, maybe he's just worried about spinning the force and just having Drew cancel it with the objective.
Yeah, but Drew, we didn't see Drew cancel anything, right?
Yeah, I know. It's maybe he just wanted to make sure he could use that force to capture Hera. I'm not sure what he's thinking here. Or maybe he just wanted to shoot Aura's gun and Dryden's gun and just not shoot Forlom's gun. Because he only had 3 force going into the battle.
So Drew's canceled the targeting by removing a rebel from Lost Pile. Basic got barred from card up from Sand. So Sand is done for.
He does have another one in his hand, though. But yeah, we'll see that.
Yeah, the new ones are unique. It's just to find it quicker. And a bad draw for Charlie.
And another bad draw. So Charlie draws a 1. Drew draws a 4.
On power. Yeah, Charlie had really unfortunate Destiny draw luck against me as well. The deck has not been kind to him thus far.
And I think he was able to to subtract from that destiny draw too, so I don't think Drew's gonna lose anything in this battle.
No, he can't modify the battle destiny draws because of sand.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, use sand. With losing Melchi and then taking Melchi into hand.
Just getting a little value.
Charlie loses Voss, so he's no longer on table for the drain.
You see Drew lose the second copy of Sand now. We'll see how Drew cracks back. If so. I mean, I have to think he's going for a battle here. If he has some more characters to follow up, we know he at least has Melchi.
Or if he can get down to an Ant-Man and play Ant-Man, not have to worry about any shots.
That would be wonderful if he knows where it is or has it in his hand for Drew.
Yeah. But he gets to subtract with Taidu from Charlie's Battle Destiny. Looks like Drew is trying to track here. Carefully activating his force.
Looks like he doesn't have a ton of life force at this point.
He has a lot of cards on the table.
Yeah. Looks like maybe only 15-ish life force.
Yeah, he drew one with Ray. Okay, so gonna get 4 more damage in here. Yep, trees one with Luke. Yep, there's Melchi. See, a 5 and a 4 in his deck. Sabotage and where's Han?
A good destiny for Drew.
Drew just draws. And I think you were incentivized to battle there.
I do too.
Because I think you could have shot IG-88 with Baze, got your Hera back. You don't have to worry about Dr. E or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think Drew's just really playing this from the driver's seat. You know, he's happy doing his 4 damage, retrieving 1. Not like Charlie's doing much damage. I think he's just happy to continue that going as long as possible, opening himself up to any kind of counter beat.
Yes, for a count. He may be contemplating drawing up.
Yeah, I wonder if that's a thought right now.
Puts his hand down, starts thinking.
Husky.
Sabotage V is definitely in Gep. Yeah, there's probably 2 copies of Dr. E in Charlie's deck. He's doubled up on some of the key characters like Hondo, Aura, and Dr. E. I think are the only ones.
Sabotage non-V is not in Gep right now.
You have to work on that, Jeremy.
Yeah, why can't you fix that, Jeremy?
Jeremy, I'd like to request for you to fix that.
What are you doing talking to us? There's work to be done.
I don't even know what the original one does. I'm looking at it.
Probably something with a besieged battle. That's why it's not in there. Tell me I'm wrong.
I'm not sure why this isn't. It looks pretty simple,
Oh, whoops.
but sometimes things that look simple are actually very difficult.
What does Sabotage on V do, Jeremy?
During your control phase, target one weapon, device, or vehicle at the same site as one of your undercover spies. Draw Destiny. Destiny greater than target's deploy cost. Target is lost. May be stolen instead if the spy is also a thief. Or cancel informant.
Ooh. Little known or cancel informant text. I bet that got used so much.
I'm sure there was a stretch of time where Scotland Girl was playing Informant Libria in some legacy deck that he had built.
Was that just in like a court deck because you pull it with the sight?
Yeah, it was like his court space deck with like with no characters besides Libria and U3PO.
So Charlie came down with the Dr. E combo that Drew barriered, and I think he just played a Lawless Time to flip his objective. No, he didn't. He just flipped his objective. I thought he was paying to play one, but he didn't.
What got grabbed last time?
Yes.
Let's see.
I now know why Sabotage is not in Gimp. Because Informant is not in Gimp.
We're about to go down a weird rabbit hole.
Put Jin down to the site. You can steal Blizzard 1.
You guys probably didn't know this, but Informant cancels Sabotage.
Do you think that's why it'd be like an infinite loop of some weird programming thing?
I'm not really sure. It could be with the undercover spy rules.
I'm kidding.
But man, how good would Informant be in Charlie's deck right now in this game?
Isn't he used 6?
Use 6.
Used 6, yeah.
Wow.
Garindan. Calling it in.
Next live event, multiple people will be playing Foreman.
So Willard,
Look at that.
Willard takes a shot.
Yeah, Charlie hit somebody.
Like Drew is debating on whether or not he wants to use Taidu to save Willard. Yeah, I think that's what just happened.
Like Aura at Willard. Right now is a hit.
Wait, but
Maybe
he's captured?
maybe it was
IG-88
IG.
hit,
Yeah.
and then since he has a captive, he has to give him elsewhere.
Oh yeah, okay. That makes more sense.
So that could help Charlie pretty significantly here. If
Yeah.
he's able to keep Willard captured There's no more. It could be worse loop for Drew. So now all of a sudden that drain 2 at the beach starts to cut into his life force.
Yeah, that was something Charlie really needed to have happen.
And it looks like his 2 destinies are big too. That's a masterful move and something big. With no more sand, Maul can manipulate the destinies as well.
Now Drew's going to lose a decent chunk here.
Yeah, I think this is one of the battle results that you're seeing now that Drew is trying to avoid by initiating himself. If this battle had taken place on Drew's turn, at any point, then Charlie would be going to town on his next turn.
That would have been disastrous for Drew.
All right, so Bay's getting his parting shot here.
Concur.
And he does hit IG-88.
Yeah, and that's a 7. So even if he didn't use a Maul already, he wouldn't be able to protect him.
Drew gets Hera back. And he gets Willard back. Okay. So it's just Dr. E left. Did Charlie forget about Maul?
He may have used him on the battle destiny.
Yeah, because POW adds 3, right? Okay, so yeah, that makes sense.
But even on that shot, it was 5 plus 2 from Baze. So even if he subtracted 1, IG is still getting hit.
Well, Baze is not plus 2, right? He's plus 1.
He's plus 2 against somebody with lower ability, right?
Yeah, plus 2 if their ability less than 4, something like that.
Oh, yeah, okay. You are correct. IG-80 indeed has less than 3 ability. It looks like Drew activated everything.
At 12 with 1 down, so he's around 13, maybe 14 force.
13, now 14. There's Jen.
Just flippantly thrown him on the table.
Yeah, it's kind of a little disrespectful there. He made.
He's got to get into Charlie's head for the next game.
He's only got like 6 force left.
Yeah, so now Charlie's not doing any damage.
Well, he's gonna ping 1, and then he's gonna ping 1 at the end of the turn as well. But I don't know. It looks like he's deciding to keep a card in reserve, but I wouldn't be surprised if he just draws up here. Drew's got 2 cards in hand, plus 1 retrieval. So actually, he would net up 1 more card with the Luke retrieval on his next turn. So I imagine Charlie's just contemplating activating it and drawing up. I think you just said exactly what I said, and now he's drawing it.
And he's like, am I getting this right? I'm double checking, I'm triple checking.
If he draws up here, it's also fewer cards in lost pile in case there's a tiebreaker, so I think it's just smart to do it at this point.
Okay, so it looks like Drew did have a user up there, so I think it's Drew by 15?
Like 14.
We'll get an official count here, but yeah, Drew won this game
10.
by about 13, 14, 15. We're not quite sure on the count yet. The next matchup is what? CCT versus QMC.
Correct.
That should be a pretty interesting matchup, I think.
A retrieval on both sides in that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, could be in for a long one.
The QMC gets what, 2 extra sites to go to now? 2 extra Cloud City sites?
Yep.
Beautiful deck box there. One of the new ones. Did you guys get yours?
They're really awesome.
Yeah, the deck boxes are sweet.
What did you guys get?
I got Ray and Drew got Kylo.
I got a Kylo.
I got a Radis.
I'm getting a Blizzard 8. That's the one I'm getting.
They all look great.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think we'll take a little break. We might go convene with the guys, and we will be back before the start of round 2 with you, Jeremy.
Well, good. I'm going to take a quick break as well, and we'll see you guys in a couple minutes.
Yeah, it looks like they're gonna restart it. At this, wherever the
Yeah,
Wi-Fi?
let's plan to restart it after the game.
Okay, did you tell Greg all that?
Yeah, I'm telling Scott that. A lot of background noise going on.
Is this better?
Yeah.
All right, the computer was in a precarious spot. I had to plug it in, and it was probably picking up a bunch of clanking.
It's not even invasion. No clankers.
All right, it looks like they are good to start.
Yep, looks like they started already. Pretty standard start for both players. Did Drew pull Slate 1 into hand? I think he did, right?
Yeah, he did.
Okay. All right, I had to beat you guys because a lot of background noise. Let me know when. Just text me when you're ready.
Various drinks were being made. We're good to go now.
Okay, so there's the spare. We expect to see Fed just come down and grab the prisoner and go to the audience chamber, assuming Drew has the audience chamber in his deck. Which it does not appear that he does.
Looks like a little spoiler in his hand already. Maybe he had an audience chamber in his hand. Maybe the spoiler was in his deck.
You're talking about the lower corridor?
Yeah, lower passages.
Lower passage? Yeah, that was in his deck. There's the audience chamber.
Yeah, so he did have a sight in his hand, but it was an audience chamber in his hand. It's the passenger deck with Twi'lek. Although he needs to play the audience chamber first before he pulls that. There he goes. Now he did a legal play.
See that he has deployed the dungeon.
Yeah, Greg, were you expecting that overload in your game with Harpster?
Yeah, I mean, I figured he was either going to do that or he was going to pull Force Lightning and then sneak attack me. And either way, I was just prepared to redraw with my objective, and I don't think he was ready for that.
Yeah, we were saying that he could have just stunning leader the battle because he had stunning leader in his hand, and then just overloaded after the battle.
Yeah, that would have been good. I don't remember if I had a stunning leader canceler or not.
It's a pretty normal setup here for both players. You know, Fed going to the audience chamber with Frozen Han, Hark, and Overseer going to Bespin.
Yeah. So early on, when we were doing playtesting with QMC, it seemed like QMC handled CCT pretty easily because there's so many locations for it to go wide and get its drain bonuses going. But I think the more we played it, CCT started to find different paths to victory. So it'll be really interesting to see how this plays out. A lot of those playtest games that I'm talking about, Drew was usually the person playing QMC. So now Drew's on the other side. We need to update the decks on the left hand side. So now that Drew's on the CCT side, it'll be really interesting to see what his approach is. And also with Charlie on QMC, Charlie kind of invented this QMC deck, but I think Drew and I have been playing it more than he has since he came up with it. So I'm really curious to see both players' approach here.
Yeah, and I'm not going to be able to update those things on the left because that involved me remoting into the machine. And the way the computer's running right now, it'd just be impossible to update those. So sorry about that, guys, but clearly see that Drew's playing CCT and Charlie's playing QMC.
Charlie just came up here and talked about how brain drained he was, and how he's like agonizing over this decision where to put the 1-0.
Hopefully that coffee's kicking in. Oh, low bot. Up. There it is, the free flip. That's good.
You're not waiting a turn just because you're not worried about the sites, or
no? There's no real value to waiting if you can flip. Like you might as well just, if you really want a site, getting it out of your force pile is the same as spending one to get it out of your reserve deck.
well, I can get cooler cards out of my force pile.
Yeah, but you'd rather just be flipped and get an extra card out of your force pile.
Go along with the elevator from.
Yeah, we'll see how quickly Charlie can find Ancient Watering Hole.
Oh, like $2, $50 or something. I thought you meant what does that mean?
Sorry, what was that?
Just saying, we'll see how quickly that Charlie can find Ancient Watering Hole.
Yeah, so that is one of the cards, and he starts wackling over Ancient Watering Hole, so he's got to find Ancient Watering Hole. He's got to get his species out. He does have Rio. Oh, he's going like super aggressive here.
So Charlie's playing like 4 barriers and 3 or 4 paths in the dodge.
Yeah, 4 barriers, 3 paths. Keep the dodge? Maybe.
I don't know. I think he may have.
Probably it's 4 barriers, and then it's either 3 path and a dodge, or 4 path, I would guess. So yeah, he's setting himself up super wide and forcing Drew to take some kind of response here. And I think Charlie knows that Drew does not have any cancelers for barrier in his dark deck.
Of contemplating in this game. So apologies for the dead air.
Yeah. I mean, right now, we're just waiting for Drew to find scum and villainy. Uh-oh. Do we freeze? Nope.
No,
Yeah,
just choking.
It's choking, starting to choke a little bit.
Nothing wrong with a little bit of choking.
Essentially, of course.
Moderation.
Crypto, a man of fine QMC taste, weighing in. Saying nice early pressure from Charlie. Yeah, I agree. I really like this play from Charlie, assuming he's got like a barrier and a path in his hand.
Yeah, we saw Charlie play pretty aggressively like this with Map versus Justin's OA yesterday. Worked out really well for him.
Yeah. So also, Charlie's going to get to take advantage of the deploy +1 bonus on all of Drew's characters. So I'm guessing he paid 5 for that Probot.
He did.
Nick is just an expert counter up here for us.
Oh, it's counting. There's the only thing happening. Of course I'm counting.
No response from Charlie, it looks like. he's mulling over a barrier still.
Yeah, he did barrier and it got grabbed.
Jesus. All right, we'll just leave the play-by-play to you. I think that is a good grab.
And he safely removes KFC away from the threat of first strike.
I think I would have pathed over to Probot's site. So you probably want to fight
To
next
potentially
turn.
get offensive.
Yeah. Oh no, because then Probot can just fight him. So yeah, good call.
But
No, Probot was buried. Yeah. I would have gone in front of Probot for sure. Drew's forum screen name is Coffee Pass. The other change that Charlie made to this QMC is he gave it a little more muscle. We traditionally hadn't had any EPPs in there, but now there's 3 of them. So he could be preparing for a nice counter beat here on one of these characters.
What did Drew keep in his deck as far as defensive interrupts?
I believe he has 3 stunning leaders and 3 imperial barriers.
And a projective. I think the projective is still in there, maybe not.
I think it is. I don't think he changed a card from what we brought here for this deck. So if so, it's 3, 3, and 1. But he may have changed cards without telling me. That was his one complaint about the deck, honestly, is that it's a bunch of defensive interrupts and then just characters. And so you don't have a lot of counterplay.
So Charlie gets Lando to the Carbonite Chamber. Lando pulls Yoxkit. He also found the docking bay while he was in there. Not sure why he's not dumping a bunch of characters in front of Probot. I guess Probot's still going to be like power 8. Is he? He's power.
Or 3 printed.
Power 2, but power plus 3 against, or was it power 3 printed, power plus 2 against the
No, I think it's
Smuggler
power
Wookiee?
2. I'll just look it up. I think it is.
If Smuggler is one of the triggers, then it's power 5, and then he gets the plus 3 from Despair, so he's 8, and then he's got 5 forfeit, makes him 13. So maybe Charlie just doesn't want to, isn't going to overflow him, but I don't know why he's not dumping more characters in front of Probot and fighting it.
He is base power 3 plus 2
There's a Ray to the Carbonite
with
Chamber.
a smuggler or Wookiee.
I mean, if I'm Charlie, I haven't played the QMC deck much, but I feel like you want to get Ancient Watering Hole online, so you want to keep as many characters as you can alive, and even throwing away just one from, the Probot Destiny draw could hurt.
Clay's asking where the sound went.
Oh no.
Jeremy, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Can you hear us?
We can hear you. Yeah. Can anyone hear us? In chat?
It's
the last. Sound breaks sometimes. Okay, thanks, Clay.
All right, cool.
I bet it's just the connection or something. The restarting the laptop hopefully will fix this.
Yeah, we had to do it once yesterday.
Half of a game fell on silent, but me and Jeremy didn't know we were silent.
No one said anything.
So we were still talking.
Yeah, it's a little choppy. We're going to restart the stream after this game.
Like an hour and a half from now.
I know we could ask them, like, I bet they would take it. How long does it take to restart? Is it complicated or is it just a matter of restarting and reopening the program?
The only complicated thing would be setting the scene up again in Streamlabs. It doesn't save this particular setup. So that'd be the only annoying thing.
It's like a 7-minute process.
But I think it's good enough now that we can wait. We'll see if it gets any worse.
So IG88. That seems good.
So Charlie ended that turn just consolidating his guys at the Carbonite Chamber and free moving a couple people to the 1-0, putting out Menace Fades. Saving 4 force. He's representing alternatives to fighting. It's a trap, which I don't think is in his deck, or maybe another barrier.
Yeah, so what are you looking for if you're Drew here? I definitely think you want the blaster effect, right? Just to get some damage in.
Yeah, that's nice to have, but I don't know if that's a priority right now. I think you do want to start piecing together space. You're not like, I don't think the game plan is to take over the Bespin system necessarily. You do want to have enough presence there to like at least force kind of a standoff between the two of you, so that way you can get your free damage in. It does need to start piecing together space at some point, I would think. Otherwise, he's going to be at like 5 locations, but paying to drain.
Rams are up 17-3.
Okay, so Crazy Carl saying it looks like he took a stunning leader. He could be trying to piece together an offensive stunning leader battle where he excludes everybody on Charlie's side except for characters of ability 2. He might be trying to put that together. Drew ended up beating me in my legend deck by putting together a double stunning leader beatdown. I had a canceller for one and he had a second one, so it was like Dengar and Ghana Gleamwort up against Rose by herself, and that didn't go that well.
Ghana Gleamwort, power 5.
There was a lot of power happening. Rose was not carrying any of it.
We're telling Drew to put Ghana Gleamwort in his scum deck, and he was just like, that card's terrible for so long. And then he played it once and was like, wow, this card's amazing.
Yeah, Ghana Gleamwort is pretty good.
Is Drew running the other spicy card?
Yes.
Spicy.
We were staying hydrated there.
Always important to stay hydrated.
Yeah. I have some water with a liquid IV going.
I've had 60 ounces of water so far today, I think, and coffee, and now a Diet Coke and a water. So there's a lot of hydration, actual hydration happening.
I've had like an energy drink and 2 sodas.
So there's Ancient Watering Hole. All right, so now things are going to get spicy for Charlie.
Does he have 5? I know he's got KFC and Hark for 2.
Rio's 3. Yoxkit is 4. I think he's just at 4.
Who's under Yoxkit?
Rio Durant. Oh, sorry, Lando.
Lando. Okay, there's Maz, but she doesn't have a species.
Oz doesn't have species, but she's probably going to find him an alien every turn or two.
Yeah, and she's immune with Ancient Watering Hole. There's Jar Jar for your 5th one. And Chewie, right? Is that Chewie?
And she's immune to 4 from the objective. She adds.
She adds a second to the battle destiny.
Yeah. I mean, she might be immune from Watering Hole.
No, all the aliens are immune to less than 4 from QMC. Okay, so there's a